Hey, so welcome back to Myth Mentality. I'm your host, Justin A.Williams. I'm the author of Reborn Virtues Constellation, which you can get on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, wherever books are sold online. Today we're going to talk about a very interesting topic that I've been ruminating on for a while, and if you know me, one of my favorite topics is looking at apparent opposites that actually are one and the same, right? The two sides of the same coin. We see this a lot in myth, where the enemy, the rival of the hero, actually reflects the hero as well. That they are they're kind of mirror images of each other, reflections. Some would say the shadow self. In some way, the villain acts as a way of revealing the hero-ness to the hero, and that they are not so dissimilar. They just come from two sides of the same track, if that makes sense. So I'll unpack that a little bit. But what I wanted to focus on today was this story of kind of the shepherd and the wolf, right? And focusing on, because while I love all myths around the world, my expertise is probably in classical myth of the Mediterranean. So we're going to look at a couple of shepherd gods. You got Osiris from Kemet or Egypt, and Set, his opposite. And then you also have Hermes, right? And doesn't really have an opposite, but you could say that, like, Hermes being the shepherd god, the opposite would be the wolf, right? So let's get to Osiris first. Osiris is a god of life after life. He's depicted as green, which is the color of rebirth. There is some black on him, which depicts the soil of Egypt. Black is not a nefarious color in ancient Egyptian culture. And he is a rising and dying god. So he's a god that experiences a death and then gets new rights and a new role and new powers when he comes back to life. He rules the afterlife, a place called Rostro. He is also the judge of the dead. So very powerful, right? And he's also called the good shepherd in a lot of scriptures. So why is he the good shepherd, right? Because he is the one who protects the flock. When people go to the place where in Egyptian cosmology, the real world is not this world. This world is a world this inspired the Gnostics, right? Illusionary. Illusory. And because this world is an illusion, you want to, when you pass on, go to a better place, like the real world, right? And so outside of the Egyptian main world, you have Rostro, and then you also have the duat, which is what you travail. You do a couple of spells to get to Osiris, the shepherd. But then you also can be devoured by a mit and go into oblivion, right? So the shepherd also has to tend to the flock. It has to decipher who in the flock is worthy, right, to be, I guess, on the farm. So what I would say is that the key to understanding Osiris is to understand his opposite, Set. Now, Set is a character who is very much the opposite, but also a reflection of Osiris. He's a royal character. He's the brother of Osiris. He's a part of the Aeneid. He's an essential being, kind of representation of the desert. So he's got a lot of red on him. He's not evil necessarily. He represents the passions. He's kind of more like the Sith, right, in Star Wars, right? Like, he represents that internal need to be impulsive. Very Dionysian in that way, except he doesn't frolic into kind of parties and revelry like Osiris does. Osiris is the god of the vine and wine in that way. So when Set kills Osiris, Set is essentially sending him to a world where he will become even more powerful, right? So without Set, Osiris can't uplift himself and achieve his higher self, right? And there are many times in life where we will meet a rival, something that will challenge us, and we're thinking to ourselves, we're in a rut, we're in a bad place. I can't get out of this. It could last for years, decades. But then you find at the end of it that you don't achieve the success that you really wanted and need in life, that you do achieve without that tribulation. The tribulation is your looking glass self, it's your shadow self. It is Set, it is the wolf in sheep's clothing, right? It is the wolf that's at the door of the farm, challenging the shepherd to be better every day to protect the flock. To wrap up a little bit, I'll wrap up with Hermes. So Hermes is often seen as this kind of small, skinny trickster, speedster character, almost like the Flash. But really he's described as this insatiably hungry, woven kind of character in early scriptures of Greek thought. And he's associated with that because he's associated with the wilderness. He's associated with Arcadia, a wild, kind of untamed land, same place as Artemis, right? Although they run on different paths because Hermes is really the god of not only some untamed animals, but tamed animals as well. So he's the one that pacifies, right? Just like Osiris, he's the one who decides who's in and who's out. And I think it's interesting that in our lives, right, we need to be shepherds and the wolf. We need to be the one that challenges others to be better, that sits at the doorway of opportunity and says, knock, knock, here I'm coming, I'm going to blow your house down, right? But we also need to be the shepherd. We need to be able to say, I'm protective, I look out for my flock, I can thin the herd if I need to, of just activities, right? Your flock could be activities, your job, what you do. It doesn't have to be people. And the shepherd is always vigilant, right? Just like the wolf is always going to be vigilant, right? So we'll end this conversation by saying that we will revisit this more, because there are a lot of shepherd types of gods, right? And there are a lot of shepherd types of motifs. And we want to be erudite in how we look at our lives and the way of the shepherd and the wolf, and how they're not so dissimilar. It's just their intentions are a little or disaligned. But use the wolf in your life and use the shepherds in your life to increase yourself so that you can get to your highest level. Thank you. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. This is Justin A.Williams, author of Reborn Virtues Constellation, the series. See you later.